Hey everyone, it's Linda Lewis Jacquez, also known as Lovelyn J. I am so excited to announce this visual portion of my blog. I will be shining a light on topics that aren't often discussed in the millennial community. We'll be having proactive discussions on topics like parenting, co-parenting, self-love, therapy, and millennial relationships. Today, we're breaking down topics that are resonating with females, but from a male's perspective. I actually decided to grab 4 men from my latest blog, Men on Love, Masculinity, and Women, for a live all-men panel. So let's meet the panel of men. On my right, I have pastor, mentor, husband, and father, Webb Pascal. And then we have creator and director of cinematic visuals and my longtime friend, Steven Silvestri.
What's going on, everybody?
To my right, I have one of my favorite people, owner of Shalom Avion, Terrence Lewis. And then I have my little brother, follower of Christ, a creative, a student of life, member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, Inc., Stephen Embert. So how are you guys doing today?
Great.
Thank you so much.
Excited to be here.
Thank you. Thank you.
For having us.
Of course, of course. So we're going to actually just jump right into the questions. As most of you guys know, the blog was based off of relationships, men, masculinity, and a lot of things that aren't really discussed from a male's perspective. So that's why I wanted to shine a light on it, to just kind of hear what men have to say in regards to it. So we're just going to jump right into the questions. The first question that I had asked some of you guys was, what scared or scares you the most about falling in love? And Stephen, you actually said, what used to scare me most about falling in love was my misconception of it. I thought falling in love immediately meant marriage is around the corner. Falling in love is a continual thing that happens as you continue to grow and know your spouse more and emotions deepen. I used to always fear the responsibility of my spouse looking for me to be more present in the relationship. All I wanted to do was coast and get by in the relationship. But once there's in love, there's immediately more work that goes into it and to maintain. And in my earlier years, I was not ready to step up to the plate. So before I get into the question, I really want to say I appreciate how you admitted that what scared you a little bit about falling in love was the fact that it probably meant that marriage was right around the corner. Yeah. And then there was fear involved on knowing that you might have a responsibility if, this is something that you stick to. So my question for you, Stephen, is why do you think, or for all of you guys, why do you think most men avoid the topic of marriage, and what do you think scares men about that topic?
I guess I'll kick it off with what scares men most about just marriage in general is I don't think enough men know themselves enough to be able to not only take care of themselves but also not have to take care of someone else.
Yeah.
So I think that's also just one big fear subconsciously, and also they don't know what this new aspect of life is, because you could be living by yourself for 25, 26 odd years, and then you get married. That's a whole different life.
Yeah.
Now you have to take care of someone.
Right.
And so going into a whole new playing field of I'm waking up and this person's really here with me. So this is a new part of life. So I think that part is it's a little nerve-wracking at first. So I could imagine that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you having?
I think a lot of it have to do with not seeing great example of what marriage really is.
That's good.
I think a lot of us may have lived in a home with mom and dad, but actually dad doesn't really speak much.
Yeah.
Dad is here, but once again, his presence is not really felt.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's one thing to be physically here, but it's a completely different thing where your presence is actually making an impact or making a difference. Because one thing I know about men, especially the older generation, that we don't really talk much.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there are things that you can learn just by watching, but also there are things that you actually can learn that you need to have some kind of conversation about it.
Yeah.
Somebody literally needs to sit down and actually teach you.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of men are actually not talking because the word marriage or the word commitment, to majority of them, automatically means that life is over. There's no more life. Now it's just a boring life now.
Yeah.
While for marriage, it's not like that. You still can have fun.
Right.
You still can go out and actually enjoy life and still go on vacation and things like that. So,
right. I agree. So do you think, just to piggyback off what you say, sorry, do you think, or do you guys think that that's why, sometimes people are in 8-year, 10-year relationships and marriage hasn't been touched on yet? Do you think it's mostly fear from the men's side, or it could be a collaborative things?
I feel as if, kind of like to touch on what Webb said, it's many different things. A lot of us don't have that proper example of what a marriage is, and those that have seen it probably seen their father and mother go through divorce.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's something that I want no parts with. And it's a fear that's like in the mental of the man. So we're kind of afraid of it. And then oftentimes, it's kind of like frowned upon in certain type of communities that, oh man, you're a sucker, or you went that route so early.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you find an individual that has the same morality as you and you can respect them, they can respect you as well.
Yeah.
Then you kind of want to make that marriage. You don't really care about what other people think.
Right.
So it's really like having the morality, having a proper example. I remember it was Tyrese was saying that he was with Rev Run, and he was like, he's the first black man that he ever seen that had a long lasting and happy marriage.
That's right.
And I thought about, I'm like, dang, how many people do I know that has a long lasting happy marriage? And it really got to my mind, and that is a lot to do with getting married. And another thing is how society has gotten a little bit tougher for men.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of women don't really think about what men has to go through now. There's internet, phone bills, car insurance, so many things that's packed on the new generation back. And if you don't have those funds, she's looking at other individuals that do have it, and now she's looking at you, hey, what do you have to bring to the table? So it's like, do I get with this woman and take on all these burdens and all these responsibility, and can I manage it? And will I stay away from the trap that my father couldn't stay out of?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's good. That's really good. All right. So I believe in order for anyone to have a successful relationship or marriage, they must know their role before walking into it. It's like a job. You need to know the requirements and what they require of you in order for you to be successful in the job. So what do you guys think the role of a man is in a relationship?
Well, basically, as a man, back then it was, I'm not going to say a bit easier, but it was different as far as what the role of a man was just to go to work and bring home the bacon and to be able to provide for the home. But whereas as time goes by, women are able to go to work also and also bring home the bacon. The bacon.
Yeah.
So now somewhere along the line, a lot of men have lost their sense of identity. As far as, okay, the very same thing that I was able to do to make me feel like a man, to make me feel respected in my own home, is taken away.
Yeah,
then now all of a sudden, now this man is in a marriage or in a relationship and not knowing what to do or what he's supposed to do. Yeah. But in my opinion, I think that the role of a male in a relationship is so much more than being able to provide.
Yes.
I believe that the man should also be the teacher of his home.
Yeah.
The man should also be the encourager, the provider, the protector. And there are so much more to just providing financially. But now you got to be able to provide guidance mentally, emotionally. There are many different aspects of it. So, and being a man is not easy due to the fact that we lack mentorship.
Yes.
For instance, women are living a lot longer than men. Yes. So therefore, whereas you may have an older woman to mentor you or to teach you the things that she have gone through the different stages of her life, whereas us
don't have that.
We really don't. So therefore, the lack of mentorship alone already create a different sets of problems that we got to go through. Like the struggle that I face in my 20s, I guarantee you, man, it'll be different, man, in my 30s or my 40s or my 50s. So if I don't have any mentor or have anybody who have already walked down that path to give me some kind of advice to be able to know how to deal with certain things, then I will learn a lot of things through trial and error, and it will cost me a lot of pain at times.
Yes.
So
that's good. That's really good. Okay. So actually, the next question I wanted to ask, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I'll just read a quote. This is actually from Terrence. Terrence, you said when I asked you what scares you the most about falling in love, you said being single, you get used to worrying only about yourself, so you become a little bit selfish with your feelings and territorial. The scary part is when you fall in love, you have to give that up and be more vulnerable with your feelings and learn how to trust your significant other in your personal space. You don't want to give it up to the wrong person and things don't work out. So that leads to my question. Do you believe in being vulnerable with your spouse? Do you believe that will create a successful relationship? And just, do you believe in being vulnerable with your spouse?
Yeah, I think you do got to be vulnerable. You got to open up yourself and let them know what's on your mind, because if you don't let them know what's on your mind and how you feel, they won't know how to come at you or how to take care of the problem.
Yeah.
So I think vulnerability is an important part of a relationship.
All right. And Webb, someone actually directed this question to you because, you know, you're married, of course. So do you believe in being vulnerable with your spouse? And if you do, how do you balance or how do you straddle between being a leader, a teacher, a father, a protector, and being vulnerable? Because, you know, that's not really taught in the male community to be vulnerable.
I think the scariest part about a man being vulnerable is the fact that we are afraid of this vulnerability state being used against us in an argument or in a bad situation. Because that's what happens is that if I let you know my secret now, I need to be able to trust you with those things, so that even when I'm in a weak state, that you don't use that against me to make me look bad, to make me look weak. Because regardless, men is supposed to be strong. We're supposed to have it all together. But at the same time, just like everybody else, we all have weak moments.
Yeah.
Human.
We still have moments where we just not feeling so
strong,
heroic.
Yeah.
We just all have that feelings. And I think for me personally, as somebody who's been married for 5 years now, almost 6 years, being vulnerable, being honest, and letting my wife know how I feel about certain things is extremely important to me. And the Bible declares that there's a time and a place and a season for everything.
Yeah.
So I think just knowing that, just being able to balance out, okay, when I need to be a disciplinarian, when I need to be a teacher, when I need to be a brother, or when I need to be a father, or when I need to be a protector.
Yeah.
It's just knowing when to kick all these roles in, because sometimes my wife may not be looking for the answer.
Yeah.
She just wants to be heard. She just wants somebody to listen to. At times my daughter don't want me to tell her the reason why she's wrong.
Yeah.
She just know that, okay, daddy says you are wrong, and she's crying.
Yeah.
And she feels like she disappointed daddy. So all she needs is some loving at that time, and then the teacher in me kicked in afterwards, after she's been comforted. Then I let her know, okay, this is what you want on, this is what you want on. Just make sure that you don't do that again. So I think it's a lot there to juggle in between, if you know all the different roles that comes along with being a man.
Right. I agree with that completely, especially the being vulnerable and then not having it thrown back in your face. I'm guilty of that. Because I think what men need to understand or realize too, that we don't see that often in men. So then when you get a man that's like, okay, well, you hurt my feelings, or I didn't like when you did that, it's like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? So it comes from that as well, because we're just not used to seeing it.
Yes.
But at the same time, I think a lot of it have to do with, a lot of those young ladies have never heard the voice of a man.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh,
They
that's
live in a
deep.
house with their daddy, but they never heard the voice of a man.
That's
Yeah.
deep.
I had a young lady from the ministry I serve in, and she said, I am the only guy that she ever listened to
Wow.
or ever really take command from or really take orders from, because sometimes I ended up having to play the role of a father,
Wow.
whereas now I'm not pastoring at the, well, it's part of pastoring, but literally sometimes I have to come in. I was like, you need to do this.
Yeah.
This is not an option. You need to get this done.
Yeah.
Saying, because there's a difference when I'm advising you and saying, you know what, this is what you should do, this is what you, but it comes to a point where if they're not listening or if the situation requires me to, all right, you need to make sure that you get this done. Tomorrow, by this time, you need to get this done. If this is not done, then there will be repercussions.
Yeah.
So not repercussions as in, you know,
I
like I'm
understand.
talking to my children,
Right.
but as in, hey, this what we have going on right here, it's not working out because
Yeah.
you're not taking what I am giving you, substance that I'm pouring out to you seriously.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's
That's good.
It's definitely challenging though.
I agree.
Even a constant theme that I'm hearing is like the voice of a man, the voice of a man, and like even in Caribbean households, Haitian households, Haitian men don't talk a lot. Haitian men do not talk a lot. And I remember like one of my friends, his name is Doogie. I remember one time I was in church and he came running to me and he gave me a hug. And this is my first time meeting him, and he said, "I love you."
Wow.
When I say that shook me, like I was like, "What are you doing? Get off of me! Why are you saying you love me? You don't even know me."
Yeah.
And like after getting to know him a little bit better and just having like a better relationship with him, I'm like, wow, so this is like what it is to actually be able to express my emotions. Wasn't until I was in college. This wasn't
Wow.
until I was in college. So that was like, and so now I'm learning what should have been learned years ago in college. So now it's just like a whole, I'm technically an infant in my
Relearning,
emotional.
yeah.
And imagine,
like,
imagine if you already had a child
Yeah.
and you didn't even know that yet. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Or a marriage and you didn't even know all this to express yourself as a man, to breathe, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like sometimes you get so overwhelmed by work, life, girlfriend, you start to feel kind of choked in, but just to be yourself, to shake somebody's hand, be like, all right, bro, like we had a deep conversation, I love you, have a blessed day. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that often. So it's very difficult. So we have no, like, we really don't have a good and proper example of being a man. So it's like now we're figuring out everything on our own, pulling little pieces over here, having to deal with the crazy world.
Yeah. So go ahead, Webb.
I'll share with you guys a little bit of my story. So I think about a year ago, I had a breakdown. I had a breakdown around that time. You know, I've been married for a while now. I'm doing good. I'm taking care of my wife and my kids. My wife and my kids never had to, you know, worried about how bills or how food was going to be put on the table or anything of that sort. And I know my dad loves me, but you know how I know he loves me? Are the things that he does.
Yeah.
But what he doesn't realize is that, yes, it's good that he does a lot of things for us and for the family, but I never heard my dad said, I love you. Mind you, I was 26, 27 years old, bro. I'm crying like a baby, like legit like a baby, man, on the couch. I came from work, I was like, man, like I'm doing good. I know I'm doing good. I know he got to be proud. Because not even for one day have I ever walked inside my parents' house and asked my dad for money or asked my dad for help. And even if I had to ask him for help, and rightfully so, this is my father.
Right.
Hopefully, if he has it, then he should be able to help me. But once again, I was looking for this validation from my father that tells me that, man, I'm hoping that before he dies,
Yeah.
he tells, like he physically, verbally say that, hey, I love you, son, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
And I made it my personal business. I kid you not. My little brother is 15 years old. He looked at me like a father figure. I tell him I love you all the time. My daughters, my friends, my boys, I tell them I love you all the time, because you never really know when it's the last time that you're going to see that person. Then the next thing you know, this person is died. I had a coworker that OD just this past week.
Oh.
I worked with them on Saturday. On Tuesday morning, they found him OD. You know what I'm saying? It hurts due to the fact that he was in my proximity, man. I was crying like a baby. I'm like, this is somebody in my proximity that, yes, I know that he had some issues and things like that, but for it to get to the point where he lost his life. The guy was 33 years old as a nurse. He's a professional now.
Yes.
And the guy OD'd on drugs.
That's crazy.
So therefore, at any given time, you get an opportunity to tell the ones that you love, the ones that you appreciate, I love you, let them know. Please do not miss that opportunity.
Yeah, that's good. Just to piggyback on what you said, and what Stephen said as well, I feel like being married now, even though I'm still fresh in marriage, it's been almost 2 years now, I realize that I'm relearning, I'm relearning what love is, and what I thought love was is not what it is, especially coming from a man. You know, Terrence can attest to that. Our father is a hard-working man, 70-something years old. He's still working. So to me, that was how a man shows you that he loves you, taking care of the home, paying the bills, providing, putting food on the table. And being married, I required all of that from my husband. You know, you don't have to say you love me, just show me you love me. Go to work, you know, put food on the table and do all these things. But then you realize that's not love. You know, you have to say it as well. You have to vocally tell the person you love them, not just show them, because there's more that goes into it. So that goes to my next question. How do we break that mold for the next generation of men so that they know how to express themselves, where they can feel comfortable saying I love you to their wife, or I love you to, you know, their children, or even a friend? So how do we break that mold starting now for the next generation?
I feel as if in order to do that, we have to start communicating and actually doing it ourselves and being that example. So my son right now is 3.5. Everything that he sees that I'm gonna do, he's gonna start to do it.
Yeah.
So if he sees me buy his mother flowers, once he gets a girlfriend, I'm that example for him to get those flowers.
Yeah.
So if I'm always working, handling my business and stuff like that, and he doesn't see the emotional part, he's just gonna know, hey, I gotta make money, I gotta get the money, like my dad. But I have to show him and be that example for him to see, so it's already programmed, installed in him, as well as speaking to my friends and people that's close to me and be like, hey, look, this is what I've done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And talking to your boys. You know, a lot of us want to brag and show how masculine we are. That is the whole American way to be like, all right, you're a man, you got to show how your masculinity. But the truth is, if you have a close friends or close people or younger individuals near you, you got to tell them straight up, like, look, this is what I did for my wife. This is what a man does.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to be that, you know what I'm saying?
That example,
It's bigger than having an ego. It's being that moral man. Like, you know, if somebody drops their wallet or money or whatever, you can easily just, you know, walk past it or take the thing, whatever, and nobody will ever know you took it.
Yeah.
But when you have that morality, you do what's right. And it's bigger than ego. So that's what we have to do as men. That's my opinion on how we bring it to the next generation.
That's good. That's really good.
I believe just as men, like, it goes along with the ego part. I think a lot of us were so quick to, well, I'm gonna get money, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I'm out of here. A lot of stuff that I'm doing right now, I'm still in college. I'm still figuring things out as I'm going along. But one of the biggest impacts that I've seen, even from one of my jobs working at Firewall and other things I'm doing, is giving back to the community. Being a mentor to a lot of the kids and being, like, staying in your city, staying in your community, talking to the kids, and not even necessarily about, like, oh, I'm gonna show them light. You have to be the light yourself. And not only that, just be present for them. A lot of, like, you have to know which hat to wear. Sometimes you're gonna have to be a father. Sometimes you're gonna have to be a student. Sometimes you're just gonna have to tell them I love you. Sometimes, like, I think that's where the change is gonna happen once we start putting ourselves not only in places of power, like as far as our jobs and careers and everything. That's good. But if we don't give back to the community and start working, serving at Boys and Girls Club, serving at your local church, serving in whichever capacity you can, and just even within your own household, family members, whatever you can, like, also know that your purpose is bigger than your career job. It's also giving back.
That's
to
good.
Piggyback off that, something that I experienced recently, like a few months ago, I was at my sister's house for my little niece's graduation, and my nephew, he's like 17 years old, and he was just chilling in the back, and all of us are sitting down talking and communicating, And he's like this. And I'm like, yo, come over here, like, come speak with us, like, come talk. And my brother was like, chill, chill, chill. I'm looking at my brother like, nah, he needs to be a part of the family, he needs to talk. But when we got to the car, my older brother, when we got to the car, he was like, I was like, why you told me to chill? He was like, he doesn't have his house, his dad. He lives with 3 sisters and his mother. So he doesn't get to see somebody his bloodline, a man. So it's like, he's just soaking it in. Like, this is my uncle right here. He's my example. Like, let me just chill when I ain't think about it. So it's so strong, and we take it for granted every day. And it's the little things that just, you know what I'm saying, your nephew, your cousin, your next door neighbor, your neighbor's kid, and he's watching you as an example and be like, yo, when I get bigger, I want to be like him.
Right.
Because a lot of my examples was dope boys. My dad did his little working thing, whatever, but when he left the house, I started maturing up. You know, you want girls, you want money, you want cars, whatever. Right. It was the dope boys that was my example. You know what I'm saying? So, very powerful.
That's good.
So won't you stay here?